History remembers emperors who conquered nations, built monuments, and stood proudly before cheering crowds. But what about the emperor who mastered power by hiding behind the curtain? What about the man who ruled the world by rarely showing his face? This is that story. This is the strange, gripping, and disturbing fifth chapter of Tiberius's rise, where the emperor learns that the strongest throne is sometimes the one nobody sees. Welcome to our fifth episode of Death of Augustus, Tiberius Becomes Emperor. Let's begin our new episode. 1. The Empire After Augustus, a Nervous Beginning. When Augustus died in AD 14, Rome did not experience celebration or relief. The capital felt like a battlefield after the smoke cleared, quiet, confused, and trembling. Tiberius was the new emperor, but he did not stride into power the way most successors do. He moved cautiously, almost reluctantly, as if he feared stepping too quickly would trigger a trap. And Rome was unsure whether this new emperor would recreate Augustus or destroy everything Augustus built. A suspicious Senate. To the Senate, Tiberius was an enigma. He wasn't warm, he wasn't charismatic, he wasn't interested in flattery or theater. His body language was stiff, his speech was guarded, and he hid his emotions with the skill of a veteran general. Some senators wondered quietly, does Tiberius want to rule at all? They didn't realize that Tiberius was already ruling, just not in the way they expected. A watching people. The Roman people had adored Germanicus, not Tiberius, so now they watched the new emperor through narrowed eyes, waiting for a sign. Would he be a second Augustus or a second Sulla? No one knew, but Tiberius did. He intended to be neither. 2. The challenge of being Augustus's successor. From the first day of his reign, Tiberius faced the crushing weight of comparison. Augustus had been Rome's savior after civil war, a master of propaganda, a gentle face atop a ruthless intelligence system, a steady hand guiding the empire for 40 years. Tiberius, by contrast, had spent half his life in military camps and the other half avoiding politics. He wasn't raised to be emperor. He didn't ask to be emperor. And secretly, he doubted whether anyone could follow Augustus successfully. Tiberius's quiet strategy. Instead of trying to match Augustus's charisma, Tiberius built his power on three foundations: strict discipline, administrative precision, and an unshakable belief that fear kept Rome loyal. Modern viewers might call this governing from the shadows, but to Tiberius, it was simply survival. 3. Rome learns its new master. In the first few months, Tiberius began to reveal the philosophy that would define his reign. 1. He trusted no one. Tiberius questioned every report, every senator's speech, every gesture. To him, politics was a field of traps. Only careful suspicion kept him alive. 2. He rewarded merit, not flattery. He refused extravagant titles. He cut down excessive spending. He rewarded governors who delivered results, not compliments. 3. He allowed the Senate more freedom, but not too much. Tiberius told the Senate, "You govern Rome, I govern the empire." It sounded empowering, but it was a test. Whenever the Senate acted foolishly, Tiberius recorded their errors in his memory. He never forgot. 4. The mutinies, first test of his power. While Rome was adjusting to his new emperor, two massive military mutinies erupted, one on the Rhine and the other in Pannonia. Both were dangerous. Both questioned Rome's stability. Both emerged because Augustus, beloved by soldiers, was gone. Now they asked, who is this Tiberius? Why should we serve him? The Rhine Mutiny. In Germania, legions demanded higher pay, shorter service, better living conditions, and recognition. When these demands turned violent, Germanicus, the people's hero, was forced to intervene. He used diplomacy, staged a surprise attack to redirect their anger, and restored order. The Rhine crisis was solved without Tiberius leaving Rome, much to the emperor's relief. The Pandonian Mutiny. In Pannonia, the revolt became brutal. Soldiers beat their officers, seized weapons, and threatened to march on Italy. Tiberius sent Drusus, his son, and a small force of praetorians. A solar eclipse darkened the sky during the negotiation, frightening soldiers into submission. Some called it a miracle, others called it luck. Tiberius called it fate assisting discipline. When both mutinies ended, Rome breathed again, and Tiberius learned a powerful truth. He could rule the empire without leaving the capital.
5. The strange shadow of Germanicus. Germanicus's popularity haunted Tiberius. The man was charismatic, a brilliant general, adored by the public, and linked to the Julian family line. Everything Tiberius was not. Germanicus continued his successes in Germania, launching daring raids across the Rhine. His campaigns won victories and recovered lost standards. Crowds in Rome whispered, "Germanicus is the future." Tiberius listened and took note. A delicate balance. Tiberius did not hate Germanicus, but he feared what the public expected from him. An emperor cannot share the spotlight, and Germanicus's light was growing brighter every year. To reduce the competition, Tiberius reassigned him to the east, giving him control over Armenia and the eastern provinces. It was a prestigious command, but also a calculated move. 6. A government built on systems, not spectacle. While Germanicus held the public's attention, Tiberius did something more important. He built the administrative engine of the empire. He reorganized taxation. He tightened provincial oversight. He balanced the treasury with strict efficiency. He crushed corruption. These reforms were not glamorous. They were not thrilling. They did not earn cheers in the forum, but they were brilliant and essential. Rome had entered a new age, the age of the bureaucratic emperor, a ruler more concerned with paperwork than parades, a ruler who understood that steady governance outlives flashy heroics. 7. The seeds of future darkness. But even as Tiberius strengthened the empire, a shadow grew behind him, a man viewers will soon come to recognize as one of the most dangerous figures in Roman history. Lucius Aelius Sejanus, commander of the Praetorian Guard. At this stage, Sejanus was loyal, respectful, efficient. He managed the Praetorians with unmatched discipline. But Tiberius made a mistake. He trusted Sejanus. History would show this was the most devastating misjudgment of his life. 8. Tiberius shapes the new imperial image. During these early years, Tiberius made choices that would fundamentally redefine what it meant to be an emperor. 1. No more hero worship. He didn't want statues everywhere. He didn't want temples in his name. He did not want divine honors. He famously said, "Men are praised too much when alive and forgotten too easily when dead." 2. A quiet, invisible ruler. Tiberius rarely appeared at public events. He rarely visited the forum. He avoided spectacles and games. The people began to call him the emperor behind the curtain. 3. a master of letters. He ruled through correspondence, detailed reports, sharp critiques, precise commands. His pen became sharper than any sword. 9. The transition toward a shadowed empire. By the end of the first years of his reign, Rome had changed in quiet but profound ways. The empire now revolved around a leader who avoided the spotlight, governed through silence and documents, trusted almost no one, watched everything, built a government of order, discipline, and fear. Tiberius did not yet withdraw from Rome. His retreat to Capri would come later, but the early foundations were already laid. He learned that distance was power, that silence was influence, that invisibility was protection. And this transformation, subtle at first, would soon reshape the empire in ways no one could imagine. Dear viewers, thank you all for watching our 5th episode. The 6th episode will be uploaded very soon. Please stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment, and share to encourage us.